Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. I am your host, Alex Clark, joined by our very own championship contender snubs in Ryan Splash Pots and Mathias Altman Kurosaki. Mac, my main man, how are we doing on the specially recorded Sunday evening episode of LAR?
Doing solid. I just want to shout out that all three of our NFL teams won today.
Let's go.
I mean, I actually don't know the last time that happened. I don't know if it's happened this year. Other than that,
I doubt it.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, I'm busy kind of house and cat sitting at the moment. My parents are in Tokyo, so they're gone until November 3rd. So the place is mine, which also means I get to look after these wonderful creatures that roam the apartment. So yeah, I'm doing all right. It's kind of tiring, but hey, maybe this week will be less tiring. I'll get into a routine. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I was actually there at M&T Bank to watch the Ravens mollywop the Lions. I was with my cousin, my uncle, and another cousin. They were all like Lions fans or leaning Lions, and like, bro, the Ravens just dropped the house on it. So good to see. Screw the Phillies.
I have a friend who is a Lions fan who traveled down to Baltimore for that.
Poor soul.
I am. So I'll talk a little bit of football. I guess is how I'm doing. Glad the Seahawks won, even though it was a much closer game than I think it probably should have been against the Arizona Cardinals. What I'm more happy about is that my man, the homeboy, the legend, the man, the myth, Gardner Minshew played an incredible game against the Browns. Yes, it was a loss on a last-second touchdown. Please, Colts, have some defense. But Gardner Minshew threw for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, then rushed for 2 touchdowns on top of it. I love that man, and he deserves to be a starter after this year. Anyway, regardless of all that, it is time to get back into baseball. Here, as now, let's talk a little bit about the championship series. Now, we are in that for both sides of it. The stage is set. We are near the end of both games. As right now, both sides are in Game 6, getting ready to go try to determine the last teams that will be standing for the World Series. Let's start out on the American League side. We've got the Rangers and we've got the Astros, two teams from the American League West, making me even more sad. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts so far about this series? This has been a very interesting one. We've had a juggernaut team in the Rangers that has been red hot going into this, and it seems like I'm not going to say they found their kryptonite, but the Astros have been doing a good job about slowing them down. Talk to me about the series. What have you guys been thinking?
Personally, this has been the best series of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think it's fair to say, because every single game has been competitive. Yes, there's the one game that the Astros won 10-3, but I mean, that game was tied going into the 5th inning, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, it's also that the road team has won every single game, which it's weird, but the Astros are under 500 at home, but they're for some reason like unbeatable at Globe Life Field, which is crazy. It's like they might as well make that their home stadium. But that last game was insane, with Altuve's go-ahead 3-run homer after Garcia hit his 3-run homer and the bench is clearing and all that. I will say that you couldn't keep Jose Altuve down forever. I know he's short. Yes, you can keep him down that way, but his bat was going to wake up eventually. And I mean, he hit a huge home run there. Yordan Alvarez, it feels like every time he swings the bat, he does something impressive. I mean, really, I thought that the Rangers bullpen had been spectacular coming into games 4 and 5, and they really showed their weakness. I'll say that much. So it's been a great series, though. I think both teams have had their opportunities to win games, and I hope this goes to Game 7. I don't know who's going to win at this point. I know I picked the Rangers, but it's just been a fantastic watch.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just, I think 2 juggernauts going blow for blow here. I know both of them only won 90 games, and that's relatively low. But Houston's been there, done that. They did get the 2 seed this year. And Texas has been strong all postseason. We talked about it last week that the bullpen was shaky, but control. They won the first 7 playoff games they played. The bullpen didn't blow any of those. But back when this series shifted back to Texas, the bullpen showed some cracks. Houston won a game late, and now you're in a do or die spot if you're Texas. I think Houston, you have 2 shots to win it at home. Now, this didn't go too well for them back in 2019 when they swept the middle 3 against Washington in Washington and then lost game 6 and game 7 at home. But Houston, most of the team, a lot of the team is still there. A lot of the team like knows that you can't lose these games, right? So I am going to lean Houston. I think they get it done maybe tonight, and I'd be correct saying Houston in 6, maybe tomorrow night. So either way, it's been a great series, a lot more entertaining than the other series that we'll get to, and probably the best we've seen so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this has been a very interesting one overall, and I think it's kind of fun when a lot of people looked at the playoff bracket. This was a matchup that people knew was possible. And
all right, some of us picked it.
Yes.
I'm just saying, some of us.
Yeah, I know.
We know, Splash. We know. Maybe it was a mistake to not use the mute button. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, boss. No, this was one that I know a lot of people looked at and said that this was a possibility and one that would be very interesting to watch, and I can see exactly why. This really is a team of. This is a matchup of 2 juggernauts. There we go. I can talk. 2 juggernauts that are really going at it, and it's one that people have seen this matchup a lot. Like, if this was a WWE match right now, this would be the pay-per-view match after a whole bunch of televised matches. They're just on Raw or SmackDown. And we're finally getting to, like, that big showdown where we've seen these 2 go at it a bunch of times, but now is when it really matters. This is where it all comes down to, and it's been everything that's been advertised. You brought up how every game is competitive except for one of them, and that was Game 4, Houston winning over Texas 10-3. But every single game has been 3 runs or less for the difference. First game, 2-0. Second game, 5-4. Third game, 8-5. Fourth game, I already said, and Game 5 was 5-4. Like, these are games with a pretty solid amount of offense, still good pitching, but the best word you used it already is that they were competitive games. They were ones where you did not know who was going to win until that final out was made. And that is the mark of a great series. That is the mark of a good match, if you ask me. And like I said, Jordan, well, like you said, Jordan is just an incredible ball player. Altuve, I will neglect to make any comments on him as it's past his bedtime. But regardless of that point, it's going to be good. I want to see this game to go to Game 7, but that's mostly because I just don't want to see the Astros in the World Series again. Because right now, how it's looking like at this point, it's a very, very real possibility that we just have a rematch of last year's World Series between the Astros and the Phillies. I would love to see it be Rangers and Diamondbacks. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think that'd be very interesting. But regardless, even then, this entire matchup has been defined by a lot of clutch hitting, some very good pitches, some bad pitches as well. I will say that. But I want to see what happens next. This feels like a car crash that you just want to keep looking and seeing. You don't want to take your eyes away from it at this point. And especially for me, where I don't like either of these teams being a Mariner fan, but you just have to keep on watching because you need to know what happens next.
And I will say we are recording this during Game 6 of the ALCS, and guess who Jordan Alvarez has driven in the first run of the night with an RBI single. That dude, I'm telling you, it's just crazy seeing these stats where it's like he had a multi-hit effort and somehow it lowered his OPS in these playoffs.
It was surprising to me. It was surprising to me. I was doing some research before this, just doing some kind of looking. And it surprised me how few home runs that Jordan had this year. Like, I was surprised. I thought he had a lot more.
He was hurt. He was hurt at one point, I know.
He missed a good chunk, yeah. But I still feel like with how that man swings the bat, because I agree with what you said earlier, it feels like every time that man swings a bat, he's about to punish a baseball like he just told his dad he got an F in science class.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Is there any player, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, you got to score to win the series, to win the World Series? Is Jordan Alvarez the first pick for you right now?
Out of these guys, are we talking about this series or
no? Like anyone in baseball, you get to pinch hit anyone. Anyone in baseball.
Man.
Is Jordan Alvarez the number 1 pick?
I mean, okay, so do you
he's near the top.
Do you need a home run, or do you need just like an extra base hit? Do you need a single? What do you need?
Single ties the game, homer wins the game.
I would say Jordan's there, although I may put my money on Kyle Schwarber, though. I think
Ooh,
Schwarber's
he's been great this series. I will
he's
say
know,
he drove
it's
in
tough.
0 runs last series, so throwing that out there.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fair.
Well, the other thing is that I feel like what Alvarez does is that for a guy who's supposed to be like a slugger, he's got great back control too.
Oh,
I mean, we
100%.
saw that.
Very. Is this sacrilege to say like prime Albert Pujols?
No, that's
This
not
is like
sacrilege.
No,
St.
I think
Louis
that's fair.
Pujols.
Yeah.
This gives me like St. Louis Pujols, just the combination of bat control and like the obscene power, and obviously the plate discipline as well. Pujols, of course, much better defensively, although Jordan does have a rocket. But I don't know. I think your list is, if you're just using like playoff performance, it's probably Jordan or Bryce. If you're like
agree.
any hitter in baseball, I think you throw Judge in there, of course. That might be your list, like Jordan, Bryce, and Judge.
Not putting Schwarber in there at all.
I think there's
Or
too much
Ohtani,
swing and miss
like-
with Schwarber. I think there's too
That's
much swing and miss with Schwarber. I don't think Ohtani is quite as well-rounded of a hitter as Judge, or Ohtani did have an awesome year this year, though.
That's the tough part.
Ohtani would be in like my second group with like the Betts and the Freemans and the Acuñas and the guys like that.
That's fair. Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
think Harper's a good pick on that as well. I like what Schwarber's been doing, and it seems like every time I turn on my phone and I get an update from MLB.com, it's Schwarber doing something else amazing. So I totally get it. Like, both sides make sense on that. All right, anything else we want to talk about when it comes to this series? I think we're all excited to see how this one's going to end up here, and regardless of who wins it, we know that a great team is going to be going to the World Series.
Yeah, I will say I think it's good that, this could be another great rivalry in the sport, which I feel like, there was Yankees Red Sox for a while, which I felt like it was a regular postseason matchup. If we can start getting, we had the Mariners face the Astros last postseason. In years past, we had the A's face the Astros. In fact, now that I think about it, the Astros have now faced every team in the AL West except for the Angels in the playoffs. But I think something about, the Rangers and the Astros, they're in the same state. They're in the same division now.
They had the fight the other day.
Yeah, exactly. But the rivalry had been so lopsided coming into this year. From 2013, there are the years where the Rangers just beat up on the Astros nonstop. And then, 2017, the tide shifted. The Astros just started, mollywopping the Rangers every time they faced. Now we finally have them facing each other in the playoffs. And they're very evenly matched teams. I wonder, going forward, I feel like the Rangers are an incredibly risky bunch. But if the Rangers and Astros can be a legit rivalry, I think it is good for the sport.
I agree. I think like you really lack the, I don't want to say like Warriors Cavs rivalry, that like that was obviously just built different. But like baseball to me has lacked that playoff rivalry, because even like Braves Dodgers, it's been 2
Or
years
Yankees
since you had
Astros. I mean,
Yeah,
Yankees
that's very
Astros. The
one-sided.
Astros have won every single Yankees Astros
That's very
playoffs.
one-sided. The Braves and Dodgers did play 3 times in 4 years, although the one series just wasn't very close. But I don't know, like before my time, but like Braves Mets, they felt like they played every year in the playoffs. You had felt like every NLCS was Braves Mets or Braves Marlins. And
they faced the Padres once.
Yeah.
D-backs,
then you have like even Philly and Atlanta. Like I think you have to win one if it's a rivalry. If maybe they play next year and Atlanta takes it, and then I think that's more of a rivalry, even though that is an interdivision sort of deal. But yeah, I agree. I think Houston, Texas, these teams could be, back here again next year in the ALDS or ALCS. Sorry, Alex.
No, you're fine. I do think though that Seattle very easily can fit into that starting next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
I agree.
that it's not. I think honestly, this could be one of those amazing tri-rivalries at this point where all 3 of them are going to be making immense waves going forward. So speaking of that, let's move on over to the National League side. You brought up here the Diamondbacks, Phillies, the Braves, Dodgers. Let's talk about Diamondbacks, Phillies right now, because that game is going into Game 6, and a lot of people had. This is one of those weird ones because a lot of people had the Diamondbacks getting just absolutely mollywopped Splash, and it hasn't been that way. It has been a very interesting series so far, and it feels like this is one of those almost David and Goliath type feels to it. The Phillies are to this juggernaut team that has been playing incredible baseball over the last. I'm not denying that they have been playing extremely good, but the Diamondbacks just don't have any quit in them. They have kept on fighting here. You take a look at the 5 games so far, and it's been 5-3 Philadelphia, 10-0 Arizona, and then Arizona kicks in to get going 2-1, and then 6-5. And then finally game 5 comes up and Philadelphia wakes up again, and they win it 6-1. So right now the Philadelphia Phillies are leading the series 3-2 going into game 6. Gentlemen, what are you seeing from this one? I'm looking at this right now, and it looks like it could be fairly even overall, but there's definitely still like that looming threat that the Phillies are with how strong their bats are.
This gives me very heavy. I'll do one positive for the Diamondbacks. 2001 Diamondbacks. This feels exactly like that. That you have one team that is obviously superior, and then the other team wins all the one-score games. So, going back, 2001 World Series, the Diamondbacks won 4 games, the Yankees won 3. 3 of the 4 Diamondback wins were by multiple runs, including a 15-2 shellacking in Game 6. All of the Yankee wins were at home, were one-score or were one-run games, and then, of course, Game 7 is the one-run game. The Phillies have outscored Arizona 27-12 in this series. They have an OPS of 850, which is, for context, exactly where the Braves were for the whole season, right? And the Diamondbacks are at a 577, which for context is pretty buns. So the series has really boiled down to Craig Kimbrell being garbage. Like that's the only reason we're still watching baseball here. He did get the save in game 1, but he blew game 3, he blew game 4. He has negative 11% championship win probability. He has a 4 whip. He's allowed 4 earned runs in 2 innings. So he's just been like cooked basically. And other than that, Philly, won game 2 by 10 runs, won game 5 by 5 runs, won game 1. Kimbrell did get the save in that one. But to me, this is just 2 different classes of teams, but your closer collapses twice. And that can be the difference in a series sometimes. And I just want to point out how weird baseball is. Kyle Schwarber did nothing in the Braves series. He drove in 0 runs. In this series, he has an OPS of 1900. He's hitting 400. He has 5 home runs, all solo shots, of course. While Nick Castellanos couldn't get out from game 1 or game 2 of the NLDS through game 1 of the NLCS, and he's been horrendous since then. He's 1 for 16. Did have the homer, but 1 for 16. It's just weird how you can be the best performer in the NLDS and then have a 408 OPS. And even on the other side, Tommy Pham hasn't been good this series, 1 for 13. Corbin Carroll's 2 for 19 with no extra base hits. Ketel Marte has been great. He had the walk-off hit in game 3, 3 doubles, 9 hits overall. So Mariners legend, right?
Yep.
So.
Which one?
It's
Ketel Marte.
Oh yeah, Mariners legend. Yeah, back when he played and he couldn't make a flip to second base.
Yeah, it's just baseball's weird like that. You never know unless it's Bryce Harper.
Exactly.
And of course, he's 1160 OPS.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's just to me. I mean, the Phillies, the bullpen was always the thing that concerned me, and they've similar to the Rangers. Like the Phillies bullpen was the one thing I was a little worried about. And I mean, sure enough, Kimbrell has 2 losses this series. Orion Kerkering finally had a weak outing. Gargi Soto gave up a run. But I mean, Matt Strahm has been great. Their rotation. Oh, and Jose Alvarado, aside from giving up that go-ahead hit to Gabriel Moreno, he's been really good. That starting rotation, though, I mean, Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, that's all you need really to win. I think that the Phillies are clearly the more dominant team here, but the Diamondbacks, I mean, credit to them for making this series interesting. I thought after game 2, there was no shot this series returned to Philadelphia. The problem is now you have to face the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park, which is an incredibly tall task. I mean, they're undefeated at home this postseason, so I don't know if this series extends past game 6, but I will say that the D-backs have done plenty they've done plenty to give their fans to cheer about. And, I think they're probably going to make some more progress next year. So it's been a great series. It's a great season for them regardless.
Yeah, it's been an amazing series for the Diamondbacks, but I'm not calling post-mortem on them just yet. I think right now with only 2 games left, yes, are they definitely the favorites? absolutely. The Phillies are absolutely the favorites on this. But there's a few things I do want to bring up here. And I'm going to call on the Mariner legends here for a sec. Tom Marte has done an amazing stint this season. I think he's on this amazing hitting streak right now. That I was looking at this earlier. That he has
14 games.
Yeah, 14-game hit streak in the playoffs is insane. But one other guy I want to bring up here is my boy Paul Sewald. Paul has been legendary this postseason so far. In all the games he has had, he has gotten 5 saves, but the more important one, has yet to give up a run yet. Let me say that one more time. He has now played in 3 playoff series and has yet to give up a run. I think right now, this is where okay, so in gaming, there's a lot of times people will use something called a win con. That you build something where your entire purpose is to get that, and if you could get that, you will win the game. I think right now, with how good he's been pitching, if you can get a lead into the 8th, 9th inning, that is what you need as the Diamondbacks, as the team right now. You need to just get that lead, and Paul Sewald has been lights out this entire year. The meme at this point that we've been joking about all season, even going back to when it was with Seattle, of time for Paul Sewald to pitch, lol, has come true. And it doesn't matter. He has been dominating at every bit of this playoff series, as well as over the course of the regular season. Yes, there was a stretch where he had a bit of a problem, but other than that, he has been lights out. And this playoff, and right in this playoff land, has been incredible. Like, I don't know what more to say at that point. Yes, is it a hard win con to get? Absolutely. But it's definitely still quite possible.
Yeah, it's great when you have that 9th inning guy. I know in 2021, Will Smith came in 11 times. The Braves were 11-0 in those games. It's just it's so nice to say, okay, you have the lead entering the 9th inning, the game is over. You just lock the door, like throw away the key. And that's what Paul Sewald's done. Credit to him. And I do want to shout out myself for saying that was a W trade for Arizona.
Oh, 100%. No, they did a great trade. Although I will say, in the long run, Seattle got some really great people. Ryan Bliss has been dominating over in AAA. Dominic Canzone is starting to get his groove going again, and Josh Rojas played pretty solid second base. So, but definitely no, 100%. Arizona got exactly what they needed, and I'm kind of happy about it because I want to see Paul Sewald succeed. And anytime I see him screaming on my timeline, I 100% like it. It is a good time. All right. And are there any other last bits here we want to talk about this series before we make any last picks for it? For our picks for the World Series? All right.
I just want to say that.
Did you guys see Trey Turner got thrown out? He finally got caught stealing. Finally happened. It finally happened.
It's right.
Chase Utley is still him. Actually, let me make sure Utley wasn't thrown out in that playoff run.
I will say
that'd be pretty bad.
I was out Friday night. I went into Jersey to see my old coach and a couple of my old college teammates, and we went out to get dinner, and a bunch of people were there just to watch the Phillies game. And I almost wish we stayed there for the whole game because it was game 4, and I would have just loved to see the range of emotions in that place. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it was 5-2, I was like, the Phillies are about to steamroll everybody, and then I mean that rally was insane.
I also wanted to make a quick note right here. The Rangers have also scored off of
Mitch Garver.
Mitch Garver. Yep. So tied at 1-1 now here for that game as well. Again, all these updates mean nothing because this podcast is going up later. But now you're going to see our live reactions.
Okay. Chase Utley clears. First of all, Chase Utley should be in the Hall of Fame, or should be a Hall of Fame inductee very soon. 2, Chase Utley was 3 for 3 in the playoffs, so 26 for 26 total in the 2009 season. At a 1440 OPS in the World Series, 5 homers.
Yeah,
do that. Bryce.
He had multiple multi-homer games that series. And I remember there was talk about him maybe winning series MVP despite his team losing. But I remember Hideki Matsui was like automatic with the bat in his hands that World Series, which, I mean, dude, that's crazy. That was his last hurrah as a Yankee, and it was insane.
Someone explained to me why the 08, 09, and 2010 Phillies were like, I could see myself rooting for some players on them, but I despise the current iteration of the Phillies.
It's weird because I feel like for me it's the opposite.
Huh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Maybe it's because the Mets were competitive then, and the Mets aren't as competitive like the last couple years, while the Braves weren't as competitive in like 07, 08, 09, 10. And the
Well,
Braves like have lost to the Phillies the last two
The
playoffs.
Mets were competitive last year. I mean, it's just that they
Well, that's
went
true, but they didn't play Philly.
they
Though.
also went 14-5 against them in the regular season. So
Good
it was
point.
like,
Hey, I
yeah.
mean, the Braves beat them in the series the last 2 years, but it doesn't seem to matter. Yes, I still want to off myself in case you were wondering.
Please no. All right. With that being said, let us know what you guys think about the NLCS, ALCS so far. Still going to be, I think it's still going to be an interesting series. Again, this podcast will be posted up later on. So by that point, we'll actually probably know who's already in the World Series by then. But regardless, let us know your thoughts on Twitter right now. Remember at LAR_baseball. I always said in the comment section, I'm like, wait, we're not on YouTube right now. Later. Later.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day very soon, actually.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Hopefully.
But with that being said, it's now time. We're going to move on here to one of our newer segments here. And we're going to go into Rant Roulette. So again, for those of you that haven't been paying attention to it, every week here we have a bunch of topics that we give each other that gets put into randomizer. And from there, we have to just kind of talk for about however long we want to. Just a rant, completely impromptu about that topic. So with that being said here, I have a dice here. I will be 1-2. Splash, you will be 3-4. Mac, you will be 5-6. The roll of the dice it's falling. I call you. It is a 4. Splash, you will be going first on this one. Your topic is what is the best way to cook chicken?
Ooh, best way to
By
cook
the way,
chicken.
I should by the way preface this saying that not all of these topics are related to baseball.
Yep.
A lot of them are, not all of them.
No, this one is. Wade Boggs asked the question. We're good.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay,
That's fair,
rest
yeah.
in peace, Wade Boggs. We need to stop doing that.
Please stop.
Okay. So
Love you,
first
Wade
of all, let me give a shout out or like an anti shout out. I went to Q49, I think it's Q49 in Kansas City. Everything there was awesome except for the chicken, which looked undercooked, tasted overcooked, bizarre. But to me, the best way to cook chicken or like chicken in a meal?
The wording of the question is the best way to cook chicken.
Okay. I like pan searing it. Get like a honey glaze on it. So
ooh, okay, all right.
I can do it in a pan. I'm not the biggest fan of fried chicken. I can't say that too loud because my grandmother loves fried chicken, but
yeah, wait, blasphemy, man.
Yeah, it's all right. I just I don't ever crave fried chicken. Like if I want chicken, I'd rather eat it out of a can than have it fried.
Okay, that's a hot take, I think, right there.
That's a scorching hot take, man.
Pan seared chicken with a little bit of honey. That's how I want my chicken cooked.
I mean, I get that sounds good. That sounds really good. Chop that, maybe put it in like a little chicken salad. Even could be real good.
Yes.
At that point, 100%.
Yes. Chicken Caesar, baby.
Ooh, I love me a good chicken Caesar salad. That's a dubski of a dinner right there. All right, I'll roll the dice now. 1 through 3 is me. 4 through 6 is Mac. It is 4. So Mac, you get to go next here.
All right.
And your topic is what story from this postseason do you think is not getting talked about enough?
Oh man, that's
is there a story? Is there a story that you're like, wow, why aren't people talking about this?
I don't know if this is generally like, I don't know if this is a story necessarily from this specific postseason, but I feel like and maybe it's just me here, but I think that Ryan Presley is just in general a guy who's not talked about enough because maybe it helps that he's been on the Astros, for the last 5 years, and he's been their closer for the last 4 seasons. But he's slowly but surely rising up the ranks of all-time saves in the postseason, and he's now 14 for 14 save opportunities in his career. There are only a few players with more postseason saves. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the only players with more saves in the postseason than him are like Kenley Jansen, Mariano Rivera, and I think Dennis Eckersley. So I feel like that's just one thing that not enough people are talking about is that it helps to have a lockdown closer, like you were saying with Paul Sewald, but the fact that he's been consistent and he's working on actually a nice scoreless streak dating back to the 2021 postseason. So I know that the Astros bullpen does get a lot of love, but I feel like Presley has almost become underrated, and I feel like that's one thing people aren't talking about enough.
I do want to throw Brad Lidge into that. So it's Rivera with 42, ironic. Jansen with 20, Lidge with 18, Eckersley 15, Presley 14.
So he's fifth. Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. That makes sense. All right. I got mine next, and I think you guys are all going to hate me because this is not the one I wanted to get, but that's okay. And that is the proper way to order a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Let's go.
And I'm going to have the back. You put this one in. I'm gonna make a lot of people mad. I wouldn't.
Oh God.
I don't.
Oh no.
I hate the taste of egg.
Oh my God.
Oh,
no,
get out.
No, egg is, especially from like a place like that, overrated. 100%
No,
overrated.
Oh my God.
Look,
dude.
I would accept it if you said substitute the bacon for sausage or ham or a different.
Reverse. But no, you keep the bacon. The bacon and cheese are the good parts about that.
Nah.
I can't believe what I just heard, man.
Bacon's all right, but
now you see why I said this is the wrong person to get this question. I cannot do egg. Why are we hating on eggs?
Okay, eggs are an S tier food.
I will say this is that you're not the only person I've heard say that, but it's just that
that doesn't make it right.
Part of the reason why I started eating eggs more frequently is because I started getting bacon, egg, and cheeses. And I mean, heck, earlier today I got a bacon, egg, and cheese. Now that I think about it, I was going to meet up with one of my friends, and I got a bacon, egg, and cheese. And I'll tell you, since Alex over here doesn't eat eggs, I'll tell you, you get it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but salt, pepper, ketchup is actually like a good way to get a bacon, egg, and cheese. And I'm not a fan of putting eggs with ketchup. I'm not normally a huge ketchup guy.
That's kind of hot.
But
hot
I'll tell you
take.
that much. If you get a bacon, egg, and cheese on like I normally get on like a plain or an everything bagel, toasted, salt, pepper, and ketchup. That's the right way to order a bacon, egg, and cheese. Take it from a New Yorker.
Bro, I can vibe with your picks. I do like me some Chick-fil-A sauce though.
I will say, getting a sandwich, though, a toasted like sesame seed bagel is such an underrated bun to use for any kind of sandwich. Like 100. Can we at least agree on that?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. And bagels for me are like an all-time favorite food.
So, is it better than croissants or bagels?
Bagel, 100%.
I'm a bagel guy.
I'm a croissant guy. I don't mind bagels, but
croissants are S tier. Croissant.
That's fair. I think honestly with me, it's just like I love the feel of it. One of my favorite meals I ever had was a BLT, BLC. I substitute the tomato for cheese on a toasted sesame seed bun and had that as a sandwich, and it was absolutely perfect. So that's my take on it. All right, let us know what you guys think about our picks, including my horrible take on the fact I don't like eggs. I understand. Please, it's okay if you flame me in the comments. I've been hearing it my entire life.
You'd be surprised at how often I have eggs as a meal each week.
Bro, eggs are elite. Eggs are elite. I understand you don't like eggs, but they're so convenient. Just pop 2 in a skillet. You can have it 100 different ways. Like just easy protein, bro. Easy protein.
I get it. No, I like using like seeds. Like guys have seeds or like a nut of some kind for my protein and all that, or just straight up meat. So anyway, with all that being said, it is now time to move on to everyone's favorite segment. It is time for trivia, and I am going to be leading the trivia charge this time. So, fellas, are you guys ready?
Yes, sir. I'm always ready.
Now I said, are
born ready?
Ready? Sorry,
RAVENS Ravens.
I saw a Triple H video earlier today, so I'm like, anyway. With that being said, here we've been talking a lot about the postseason, but we haven't been talking a whole lot about. We haven't been talking a whole lot about the regular season now that it's over. But there's a lot of cool things that happened in that, including a lot of big home run hitters. So your job today is you are going to go. This is, I should say, slightly inspired by JM Baseball and some video series they've been doing here. I have in front of me all 30 MLB teams and their home run leaders from the team here. The team they ended on, I should make that clear, by the way. And what you guys are going to do is going like back and forth. So alternating on this one, you're going to name a team and the player that has the most home runs for that team this regular season. So, with that being said, it's going to be a 3-strike system. Once you have 3 strikes, then you're out. If you're wrong, I'm not going to tell you what the correct answer is. But I'm going to tell you this right now. There are a few teams here that have a tie for the top. So I will be accepting either answer for it. So you don't need to give me both. I feel like that'd be too hard. So with that being said here, I am going to roll another dice here. Splash, I want to give you the pick on this. You want evens or odds?
Give me odds.
It is even. It is a 4.
Oh.
So Mac, would you like to go first or would you like to go second?
I'll receive.
You'll receive. That's I kind of figured.
Thing.
All right. So I also have 2 contingencies, by the way, because I know you guys are really good at this. So, that being said, Mac, you get to pick the team and the player. I don't need you to say the number of the home runs, but if you do, then you get more whose line points.
More what?
Whose line points, as the points don't matter.
Okay, give me New York Mets and Pete Alonso.
New York Mets at Pete Alonso.
46, I know.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yep, no, 100%. You got it. All right.
I would like Matt Olson for the Atlanta Braves, 54.
Yeah, there. I knew you guys were just going to go immediately to your own teams, and that's understandably so. So, all right, Mac, it is back to you.
All right, I'll keep going with the NL East. Philadelphia Phillies, Kyle Schwarber, 47.
That is exactly correct. All right, back to you.
Miami Marlins, Jorge Soler.
Jorge Soler is correct. All right, Mac, back to you.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna try to knock out the NL East here. That's what I'm gonna do. I believe the Nationals is Lane Thomas.
Lane Thomas is correct. You got
Let's
that
go.
one.
2020 guy.
Okay.
Splash, back to you.
New York Yankees, Aaron Judge.
New York Yankees, they
crazy.
did have one Mr. Arson Judge.
Yes, Giants
legend. He missed how many games, and he still led them
70.
in home runs by a lot.
Exactly right.
I mean, he had 2 3-homer games.
All right, back to you, Mac.
All right. Oh, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Angels, and I'll go with Shohei Ohtani.
One Mr. Big Fly Ohtani-san is correct.
Chicago White Sox, Luis Robert.
Louis Bob gets you another point on the board. Not keeping points, it's just strikes, but kept you from getting a strike there.
Yes.
All right, Matt, back to you.
Seattle Mariners, I believe this is Julio Rodriguez.
Julio is correct. All right, back to you, Splash.
Well, Los Angeles Dodgers, Mookie Betts.
The big Mookie Cookie is correct. All right, back to you.
Okay.
You can see this is a chess match between the two of you, just going back and forth, back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah. This is now we're starting to reach the tougher portion of this, I would say. Man, I'm doing some thinking,
One thing I should mention as well, by the way, this will give you an extra to think as well here. But if you say a team that has already been called, I'm not going to tell you that's already been called, but you will receive a strike.
All right, I'll go Arizona Diamondbacks, Christian Walker.
Christian Walker is correct.
Tough. Okay. You mean Texas Rangers, Adolis Garcia?
Adolis Garcia, one of my favorite stories, is correct. All right, back to you, Mac.
San Diego Padres, Juan Soto.
The Padres have one leader at the home runs position. It is Mr. Juan Soto. Splash, back to you.
Kansas City Royals, Bobby Witt Jr.
Mr. Witt shows that you have some wit. That is correct. Back.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting to the nitty gritty here, folks.
Yeah, that's the issue.
to quote one Mr. Dave Sims.
Okay. Try to think of the teams we haven't done yet. Baltimore Orioles. I believe this is Anthony Santander.
That is correct.
Hmm.
And I will say this as well because of that. That is one of our doubles.
One of your
The other one
ties?
was one of the ties. Yep. Anthony Santander and Gunnar Henderson.
Give me Boston Red Sox, Rafael Devers.
Mr. Rafael Devers gets you another moments away from the strike category. You're right. Back to you, Mac.
Okay. We're definitely getting to the tough part of this.
You're getting to a lot of teams that their home run leaders are not very impressive numbers.
Yes.
Oakland Athletics. I believe this is Brent Rooker.
Mr. Rook is the king here, so you are correct.
Let's go.
Detroit Tigers, Spencer Torkelson.
You put some torque between that answer. That is correct. Mac.
Okay. This is we man. This is difficult. I'll say that much. I'm trying to remember the teams that we haven't done yet. We've knocked out all the NL East. We've knocked out almost all the AL East. But man, why am I struggling? All right. I'm not sure if this is right, but Cleveland Guardians. Give me Jose Ramirez. Honestly, I'm not too confident there.
It took you a long time to get that answer. Good thing it's right. Congratulations.
Okay, good. I was between two guys. Taking two players there.
This one is a bit of a shot, but Colorado Rockies, Nolan Jones.
That is the first strike on the board.
Yeah, I almost made that mistake.
All right, Mac, it's back to you.
So does that mean the Rockies are still on the board?
The Rockies are still on the board because that was an incorrect answer.
All right, Colorado Rockies. I think this is Ryan McMahon.
The true Mr. McMahon. It is correct.
Let's go.
Okay.
Gosh.
I'm going to go Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Vladdy is correct. Way to get back on the board.
I was not confident in that one, but we ride.
You're riding. All right, Mac. Andy, you still have one strike lead.
Okay. So we've not done Tampa Bay yet, if I'm not mistaken. And I'd like to say that the correct answer there is Isaac Paredes.
That is exactly correct.
Let's go.
Good pull there. All right, Slash to you again.
Oh man. So I'm just trying to think of teams we haven't done yet. Because that's like half the battle is, just guys we haven't done yet. Or teams we haven't done yet.
I can tell you this. I'm not going to tell you any exact teams, but there are only 8 teams left.
Wow.
You guys have done really good. I thought by this point we'd already have had at least one saying the same team.
Okay, Houston Astros, Jordan Alvarez.
Jordan is correct.
I wasn't even sure if he was the correct answer there.
Yeah, he missed a lot of time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think of. Okay, so I think now we've done all the. Okay, let me. Okay. Right. Give me the Chicago Cubs, and I think this is Cody Bellinger.
Cody B is correct.
Let's go.
And also is one of our doubles. The other one being Christopher Morel. All tied.
Nice.
I guess I'll stick in the NL Central. Pittsburgh Pirates, Jack Sawinski.
Jack Sawinski may get you the win today. That is correct.
I'll be honest. I almost went with the Pirates, but I had a different answer, so I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, I've been there before. Been there in this game.
Splash currently has 1 strike. Mac has 0.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so I know we're running low. We're down to like 5 teams we haven't done yet. Okay, Milwaukee Brewers. This is tough. Milwaukee Brewers, I'd like to say this is William Contreras.
Is that your answer? You say you'd like to say. Is that what you're locking in?
Yeah, I'm gonna lock it in. William Contreras.
For the Brewers, that is incorrect, and your first strike on the board.
Okay. We
All
back
right,
in it,
ball
boys.
game.
We back
Ball
in it.
game.
Okay.
Splash, back to you.
Okay. Give me a shot with the Brewers. Give me Willie Adames.
Oh my
Willie Adames. His name starts with W because that is correct.
Let's go. Got the A power, at least according to us.
100%.
Definitely
All
didn't
right.
age poorly at all.
Definitely not at all. All right. I will say now there are only 4 teams left.
Yeah, man.
Mac, and you guys are tied at 1 strike apiece. Mac, it's back to you.
Can I remember the teams?
That is going to be the other challenge.
That's the other
I remember
challenge,
one. I think I could only remember one of the teams left.
Oof.
Maybe two. I can do 2.
Oof.
All right.
I can do that one.
Oh my god. All right, give me a second.
Okay, I think I figured out the
more
teams left. I just have no earthly idea who the leader on
I
would be.
know. I know what teams are left. That's the thing. All right, St. Louis Cardinals. I think the answer here is Nolan Arenado.
Mac, that is your second
No
strike.
way, man.
Oof.
All right,
Okay.
Splash, it's back to you.
Okay, let's go out to the Bay. Give me San Francisco Giants with Mets legend Wilmer Flores.
Wilmer Flores is correct.
What? Actually?
Yeah.
Exactly correct.
Jock missed too much time. The Haniger missed a lot of time. And no one on the team since Barry Bonds hit home runs. Like,
Yeah, no, you're right.
All right, Mac. It is back
enough.
to you. You have 2 strikes.
Yeah.
We matched.
Oh
he was like he was flirting with being in our team of the like Silver Sluggers, believe it or not.
Yeah. Man.
That just feels weird to say, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a utility spot.
I'm still thinking St. Louis. I mean, if it's not Arenado, then I figure it's the other right-handed bopper on that team. So I'm gonna go with him, Paul Goldschmidt.
Mac, that is your 3rd strike.
Man, that's impossible.
Okay. I think
All right,
I got
you're
it.
not out of the game just
it.
yet.
I think I got
Flash needs 1 more correct answer in 2 tries.
Okay. So, St. Louis Cardinals, we did not make his graphic, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. He had a great season, Nolan Gorman.
Congratulations, Splash. You have won
Nolan Gorman,
today's
dude.
Bang.
So I want to tell you this
what?
right now. Nolan Gorman had 27 home runs, Arenado 26.
Bang.
What in the world?
Run.
And then we have Cincinnati left. And
Yeah, since now Splash, you are the winner. I can now say at this point.
Cincinnati
the remaining teams,
freaking
the Twins and Cincinnati were left.
I'm gonna
You guys want to take a
try
shot who they were though? Just
Max
for fun.
Kepler and Spencer Steer.
Yeah, I was gonna guess.
You run the board. Yep, you ran the rest of the board. Correct. Congratulations, Splash. You have won today's trivia. Congratulations.
The comeback dub.
No way, dude.
I do want to say one more thing though. I had 2 contingencies right here for this because I thought you guys were going to completely sweep the board. So
it was close.
Do you guys want to do the quick contingencies just to see what's just for fun?
What is it?
All right.
Fewest home runs by team.
So for this one, we've now said all 30 teams. I want you each to DM me privately. How many of the teams was their leader at 30 or more home runs?
What in the world?
That would have been a good tiebreaker. I have no interest in answering that.
Do you want to answer it anyway just for fun?
11.
All right, back to Splash already said his answer. Mac, do you want to put a quick answer just for fun?
Yeah, 10.
You can say it loud. It's 18.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm
I
surprised,
win.
actually.
Get
So
dunked
the
on.
only
Boom.
teams that did not have a leader that was above 30 home runs were the Twins with Max Kepler. No, excuse me. First, it was the Orioles with Gunnar Henderson and Anthony Santander. Blue Jays Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He had 26. Max Kepler with 24. Jose Ramirez with 24. Then you have Lane Tomas here, Willie Adames, Spencer Steer, the combination of Cody Bellinger, Christopher Morel, Jack Swinski, Nolan Gorman, then Wilmer Flores, and Mr. Ryan McMahon.
Wait, how many
You know-
did Flores hit this year?
Flores at 23,
What?
and he was the leader. I double checked
No
everything
way,
I could.
man.
If you want to fact check me, please go for it. I
know-
used LOE.com. I used 2 different sites for it to double check my answers.
No, I believe you. I just can't believe that that.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Bro, Gabe
I think
Kapler
of
had
him
him
as a
mashing.
part-time player.
Yeah,
I
but he
get
just
that.
obliterates left-handed pitching, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
I will say there were 3 team leads, home run leaders that only had 23 home runs. It was
Bums.
Wilmer Flores, Ryan McMahon, and Spencer Steer. So
Bro, and half of the Braves hit 50 home runs this year.
that was actually going to be another potential contingency, is how many Braves did it. I actually had one more contingency just because I was paranoid. I will say this one just because it's fun. Ichiro Suzuki, it's his 50th birthday today. Here, how many home runs did he hit in his career?
Oh, 129?
119, I'm pretty sure.
Mac, you were closest. It was 117.
Oh, close.
Very close. But anyway, that is our trivia. Again, congratulations to Splash for coming out on top. And also thank you to John Boy Baseball, John Boy Media for the inspiration for doing a style of game like this. But with that being said, now it is now time to our final segment. Is like to end every podcast here with the moment to ourselves. We take a minute, just talk about whatever's on our mind. It does not have to be baseball related, but it absolutely can be. Would any of you guys like to go first this time around? If not, then I guess I can go first today. So I will start my timer. We've got 3, 2, 1, begin. Why do all Seattle sports just continue to piss me off? Like, at this point right now, there's a trifecta that was made after the Kraken played a while back ago, and after the Seahawks had their last game, not this week's game, the week before that, where there was a graphic that was made that it was the perfect handshake triangle between the Mariners, the Seahawks, and the Kraken, where the Mariners can't score with runners on scoring position or bases loaded, the Seahawks can't score in the red zone, and the Kraken can't score in the power play. And I'm like, why do you, when you have the advantage, why can't you do the thing correct? This should be the easiest time to do the thing correct, and you just can't do it. Think everything, and listeners, think everything that in the last Kraken game, they actually got to score it with the power play. Because otherwise, I was going to go insane. But also, I just felt good, again, to say, that's Kraken hockey, baby. All right. Who would like to go next? All right, Splash, you are on, my friend, in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Through 7 weeks, Lamar Jackson's the NFL MVP. This feels really good to say. This is like the second time in 3 years that he's done this. So shout out to Lamar. He was unbelievable today. He was unbelievable last week. He was all right last week. He was unbelievable in week 5. Just no one could catch passes. He was unbelievable against the Browns, and he was excellent against Cincinnati. So that's 4 out of 7 games this year that he's been unbelievable. Then he was pretty mid against Indy, was all right against Houston, was all right against Tennessee. That's a lot better than these other bozo quarterbacks are doing. And I'm not saying Lamar's going to keep it up. Tua's playing right now. He probably has 73 touchdowns while we're recording. Although I flipped my pick at the last moment, so I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm just really excited to have a good Lamar Jackson again. It's something I cherish, that I got to see him play in person today, and he was just magical. So shout out to Lamar, shout out to the Ravens, go Ravens. Second best team in the AFC ? So screw the Steelers, by the way.
I saw that last little shot in there.
That was okay. That was the most fraudulent game of all time. There was at no point
cannot
did the
believe it.
were the Steelers better than the Ravens. The Ravens just kept falling over themselves.
Oh yeah, no,
It's
they
just
were tripping.
okay.
Tripping
I
and
had this
tripping and
theory.
tripping.
I had this theory that the Steelers 95% of the time they are the worst team in football. The other 5% it's Watt or Hayward or Minka or Pickens
Oh,
or
it's the defense.
whomever.
Yeah,
One of
100%.
them just decides, you know what, I'm Jesus, and they're gonna score a touchdown on this play. They're gonna have this like sick play, and they score, and it's worth 20 points, and all of a sudden they're up 20-17. I did bet on the Steelers to beat the Rams today. Also, Jonah Heim. It's 3-1 Rangers.
Oh shit!
Yeah, let's go.
Wow.
Framber Valdez cooked in the playoffs.
Apparently.
Because I saw that Garver got on base.
Yeah. All right, Mac, if you are ready to go, are you good?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, I'm ready.
All right, there we go. You go in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So it occurred to me during while I was hanging out with one of my friends, because he's a Giants fan, but he's also a Yankees fan, so he kind of has like the balance of like the Yankees are good almost every year, and the Giants, I mean, they have 2 Super Bowl rings in our lifetime, but they're perpetually disappointing in my opinion. And then it occurred to me, like, I'm a Mets fan in baseball. You know, they let us down nonstop. It feels like, you know, especially like this year, high expectations to win 75 games and sell off your stars. Now I remember, I'm a Steelers fan. I haven't seen a losing season since I was in preschool. So, but at the same time, I'm also a Knicks fan, where they haven't won an NBA Finals in 50 years. So it's just crazy to me to think that while we all complain about how, like, in my head, I feel like, you know, Yankee fans are spoiled brats. They haven't had a losing season since the year my sister was born. They have so many rings and all that. And then I remember, well, in football, that's actually me. So I acknowledge the existence of both sides of the spectrum.
Oh no, I completely get
Bro,
that.
I feel the same way. You know, my teams are in different cities, so it's like one of them's like perpetually garbage. Like the Red Wings were awesome until I turned 15, and then they went into the dumpster. And the Ravens draft Lamar, and the Braves start playing better, and that's during the Cavs run of being like really good with LeBron again. And like now the Cavs are like pretty mid, but they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're pretty mid. The Braves gag in the playoffs every year. The Ravens gag in the playoffs every year, and the Red Wings stink. So I kind of know how you feel. I kind of it's one of those weird things that like all of my teams have won a title, but they've all like been aggressively mediocre when it matters. So it's like, oh.
Yeah, see, only one of my teams has won anything in my lifetime, so
that's a good point.
Same. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just like I just think back to when what we have. My parents lived in Boston before they had kids, and like they were there in the 80s. You know, the Sox hadn't won in forever. It was right after the Mets beat the Sox in the World Series. But we have a family friend out there who's talking about how spoiled his kids were to grow up Boston sports fans, because like his dad was born in 1918, never saw the Red Sox win a championship.
Oh no!
Meanwhile, the Red Sox rattle off 4 World Series wins this century.
The Patriots
win 6. The Celtics have won. The Bruins have won. And it's like, dude, they do not know how good they have it.
Yeah, I think there's like one point in this like this Boston sports timeline that if you were born in a certain year, you had as many birthdays as championship parades. In like 15
actually,
years or something like that.
That's
maybe not
insane.
Quite as many, unless if you're counting UConn basketball, then I think it works.
Yeah, I mean, but if you count UConn basketball, then you basically that is just an every year occurrence for a while.
Come to think of it, though,
if it's UConn men's basketball, the women's team is obviously good, but the men have won 5 championships since '99.
That's fair. Yeah,
and including this past year.
Yes, I was very happy to see that. That was I don't believe that tournament existed. That was the worst basketball I have ever seen in my entire life. And I watched the Cavs without Kyrie and before LeBron came back. That was bottom tier of the bottom tier. It's like watching.
I watched Syracuse.
The last Ravens game I went to was RG3 versus Duck Hodges. I thought that was a great being a 2011 Cavs fan. That was horrible.
RG3 versus Duck Hodges. I remember that, man.
Talk about a mid-card match.
That was the dumbest game of all time. Almost as
Oh,
dumb
yeah.
as the COVID game. That was even worse.
Oh God, yeah.
Throw it on a dime. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bro, I got to get off. That was unbelievable.
Oh my gosh. I will say I wanted to do one quick thing football wise, just one last thing on it. And that is that I'm gonna borrow a phrase from Splash that I don't usually like saying, but calling someone him, and that's Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is him. Throwing 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 touchdowns. Let this man be a starter aside from just 2023. This man deserves to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I wish they had won though. Although
They should have won.
I bet Browns -2.5, and they blew that. But they won, but they blew that. So like,
The thing is that good teams win, great teams cover.
So the Colts are a great team. The Browns are a good team.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, that checks out.
Sure thing.
Anyway, I think that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you so much to you guys for all tuning in. Make sure you can follow us all on Twitter. You can go follow me at the Sports Guy 242. Go follow Mac on Twitter at Mathias_A_K. And you can also go follow Splash on Twitter at Mr. Splashman19. And then go follow our podcast Twitter at LAR_baseball. We are posting a lot of fun stuff here for you all to interact with. Make sure you let us know your thoughts on our podcast today over there on the Bird app. But for all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, we want to thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, and hope to see you all real soon. Thank you.